Trump tweets, Khamenei should be very worried. But as I look at the map on February 3, 2026, I see the complete opposite. 2 Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, IRGC, patrol boats, their elite marine thugs, and 1 drone named Mohajer are circling an American tanker in the Strait of Hormuz, threatening to seize it. Like street thugs poking at your car outside a store. Who should really be nervous here? Us, with our multi-billion-dollar fleet, or them, with their cheap toys? I recall the 2023 incident with the USS Abraham Lincoln destroyer. An Iranian drone flew too close, within a whisker of an explosion. We shot it down, and everyone gasped, "A strong response!" But what changed? Nothing. Their tactics have only spread like weeds after rain. We set up chess pieces by the rules, while they play checkers on a minefield. Each move provocative, but not quite enough for a full strike. Audacity? Absolutely. Because they know we fear escalation more than they fear casualties. This isn't a random quote 3, as the news reports. It's a test of resolve. Each time they pass with flying colors, and the price of our A grade is your gasoline $1 more per gallon at the pump, and the security of allies from Japan to Europe, whose tankers feed the world. The Strait of Hormuz is an artery for 21% of global oil, and they're pinching it like a mosquito. Today, we'll dissect their hybrid warfare, where the enemy strikes not with an army, but with cunning jabs, and see why our sanctions have only made them bolder. We thought economics would break them, but they broke the rules of the game. The first thing to understand is that they don't fight with easily visible cannons. They fight with your nerves and your wallet. Watch their hands. And here's what they're doing in the Strait of Hormuz. Hybrid warfare isn't about tanks rumbling through streets. It's about an enemy creeping closer and closer, preventing you from striking back without declaring war. Imagine, your neighbor removes a light bulb from your porch every evening. 1 bulb, no big deal, not war. But after a month, you're in darkness, and he has a full bag. In Hormuz, it's the same. Iranian IRGC patrol boats, fast, cheap, like pirate ships from a movie, circle our tankers, probing with radars and drones. A single drone costs $20,000. It can be lost without a trace. But shooting it down costs $1 million missile from a destroyer. Their boat costs a couple of million. Our ship, $1 billion. They can lose 100 times. We can't lose even once. Feel the irony? We're an elephant. They're a swarm of wasps. A sting and blood. Let's apply logic. Look at the Red Sea. Houthis, sponsored by the same Iranians, are sinking ships with drones. Bet on fear, and you get trade paralysis. Tanker insurance skyrocketed tenfold. Cargo ships reroute around Africa, adding thousands of miles. Same tactic, same sponsor. The IRGC teaches proxy groups to play this game. We thought sanctions would crush them, but they just grew bolder. Building a drone fleet on the black market. Why does this affect us? Because every such jab is a lesson for all terrorists. The West fears a big war, valuing every ship and soldier. Press on the economy, and the elephant will freeze. Their weakness is our indecision. And now, the cherry on top. 3 signs that tomorrow they'll move from jabs to a real strike. Now for the cherry on top. 3 signs that Iranian provocations in the Strait of Hormuz are escalating from minor jabs to something serious. I'm no prophet, But as a journalist who digs into fleet reports and proxy attacks, I see patterns. These aren't accidents. This is escalation, and you can recognize it yourself. Let's break it down so that the next time you hear, quote, 5, you don't just yawn. First sign, the blurring of red lines. Remember, Iranian IRGC boats used to keep a 5-mile distance from our vessels, supposedly respecting the rules. Then they cut it to 1 mile, as if testing if we'd swallow it. But on February 3rd, 2026, 2 patrol boats and a Mohajer drone aren't just circling, they're threatening to seize an American tanker, approaching closely, like thugs in an alley who know the cops won't shoot for a mere poke. Why is this audacity? Because a red line isn't a concrete wall, but a blurred watercolor they erase millimeter by millimeter. Each time they get away with taking a piece, and we respond with warnings, not a strike. Watch the distance in reports and the tone of threats from Tehran. If it stiffens, escalation is close. Second sign, the escalation of the swarm. A single drone is just an incident, like in 2023 with the USS Abraham Lincoln, when an Iranian drone flew too close and was shot down. Everyone gasped. But what changed? Nothing. Now it's not lone wolves, but a swarm. Multiple drones coordinated with patrol boats, like a pack of wolves against a lone bull. This is a shift from street hooliganism to an organized ambush. Look for words like multiple, group, or coordination in the news. This signals that the IRGC is moving to a systemic attack. Their drones cost peanuts, $20,000 apiece, but shooting them down requires $2 million missiles. They can lose 100. We can't lose even 1. Feel the irony? This is a war of attrition, where the weak strike the strong's nerves and budget. Third sign, proxy synchronization. When something brews in Hormuz, and on the same day or week, Houthis in the Red Sea sink ships, it's not a coincidence, but a test on 2 fronts. The IRGC pulls the strings of proxy groups like Hezbollah or the Houthis, testing our reaction. Will we spread thin, or will we strike? This is centralized control, where one jab in the strait distracts and another hits global trade. Apply logic. Insurance skyrockets. Cargo reroutes around Africa, adding thousands of miles. And the whole world pays. As a senior Iran researcher summarized after the Abraham Lincoln incident, quote, "He's right. This isn't the future, but a script already being written. And the cost? Your gasoline and the security of allies. Watch their hands. The next incident could be the one. Watch their hands." Imagine, an Iranian patrol boat approaches a tanker, like a hooligan to your parked pickup. A drone buzzes overhead, like an annoying fly. Nothing exploded? Great. But the whole world is already on edge. Why? Because the Strait of Hormuz isn't just some small river. 21% of all global oil flows through it, plus 30% of liquefied natural gas that heats homes from Europe to Asia. Now for the cherry on top. If Iran blocks the strait even for a couple of days, not a seizure, just a hint, oil prices will jump by $20 to $30 per barrel. What does that mean for you? 30 cents more per gallon of gas at your pump in Texas or California. In a week. In a month, that's $100 for a tank. And this isn't theory. Remember 2014, when they only hinted? Gas in the States jumped by 50 cents. And who will pay? You. Me. Every American who drives to work or takes kids to school. Iran orchestrates a provocation. Watch their hands. Shipping insurance companies double, triple their rates. Tanker captains reroute around Africa, adding thousands of miles to their journey. Transit times increase, cargo is delayed, and prices for everything, from plastics to fertilizers, creep up. The scheme is simple. They blackmail the entire world for pennies. Their patrol boat costs a couple of $100,000, our destroyer, billions. And the gain? Iran sells its oil for more. Russia and Venezuela wink from the sidelines. We thought sanctions would break them. Ha! They're making us overpay for their own game. And now, about our allies. Take Japan or South Korea. They have almost no oil of their own. Hormuz is like a carotid artery for them. One such quote 11, and their economy sputters, factories slow down, and prices for electronics for us skyrocket. Iran is hitting not only us, but also those we've pledged to protect. Our indecision is their gift to terrorists worldwide. Feel the irony? We spend trillions on our navy, but they pull the strings and watch us dance. So when the news flashes, incident in the Strait of Hormuz, don't just yawn. This isn't some distant exotic place with palm trees, it's your bill in the mailbox. Khamenei's next move, and gasoline will become a luxury. Are you ready to pay for their audacity? So, let's pause and put the pieces together. They insist it's just minor hooliganism, a couple of boats and drones. So what? But in reality, it's a well-oiled hybrid war of attrition, where Iran pulls the strings, and we pay. Signs of escalation? The blurring of red lines, swarms of drones instead of lone ones, synchronization with proxies like the Houthis. Ultimately, the goal is clear. Not to seize Hormuz by force, but to inflate oil prices, paralyze trade, and portray us to the world as those afraid to blink. Checkmate to their scheme. Your task isn't to tremble at every headline. No, your task is to see through this deception. These three signs are now in your pocket. Watch the distance, the swarms, and the coincidence of attacks. When you hear incident in the Strait of Hormuz, you already know what to look for. Subscribe to the channel so you don't get fooled. I'll be watching their hands in the Persian Gulf, and you'll be watching the logic on the screen. Together, we won't be pawns in their game. Why can't we relax? Because the next quote 15 isn't just another drone over a tanker. It's a test. Is America ready to stand for the world it built after World War II? Or will we swallow the bandits' right of might, where the IRGC, the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, dictates the rules? Our indecision is their fuel. They see us spending billions on our navy but not using its will, and they grow bolder. Strength isn't about aircraft carriers in port. It's the readiness to deploy them. As long as Khamenei believes we lack that will, patrol boats will appear near our vessels again and again. The question is, when we will prove him wrong, and at what cost to your wallet.